My mom is the same age as Anne Frank, so Nazis.
I've heard a lot.
Nazis.
I've heard a lot, but I've
Nazis.
Hello, free minds. Here we talk about the things that usually go unspoken. Subscribe if you're ready to hear the truth, no filters, no compromises.
Love each other.
I do love you.
Jesus he never said nothing about homosexuality. He taught about love. Love each other as you are. As God made you. He made you in his image. We are all gay because that's how he made us, baby.
Did God make a murderer a murderer? Did God make someone who lied a liar?
Yes.
Did God make
Yes.
God made
He
liars a
everybody and
liar?
everything.
No. So God gives us free
God
will.
bless you. Move on.
God gives us free will, and God didn't make you gay.
Move on.
Being gay was a temptation of the devil, and you gave in to the temptation, but Jesus came to set us free from the power of sin. He came to set us free. How am I judging you? I'm telling you there's good news. I'm telling you there's hope.
The man here emphasizes that, in his view, not everything within a person should be considered part of the divine plan. Sin and temptations exist to be overcome.
Want to do something that was for girls. I did every single sport. I tried to be a boy so hard, right? And I had two moms, and I got my nails painted, and I went to preschool. But here's the deal. I did have progressive parents. I did start growing facial hair when I was like 12, right? And that did not work for me. My mom had to shave.
It seemed like the complete gender experiment package was included, but nature seemed to wink and say, don't worry, we'll figure out who's who.
There was a notice, I saw it on Snapchat. There is going to be a big walkout of people who are upset about this discussion tonight. We have it, yes. Hey everyone, I'm hoping to get some support in opposition to an anti-trans event. I guess that's us, apparently we're an anti-trans event, who knew? Tonight, it's happening at UMKC. There's a plan in place to stage a silent walkout shortly after the events start and to attend a different event. If you are free Thursday, please consider coming. The plan is as follows. We recommend using an alias and registering as many guests as possible for the event. If you can't attend, it helps if you register an alias anyway. Then you can attend the event, try to be early, disperse throughout the crowd, be as disruptive as possible, and then at the sound of the phone alarm, stand up and walk out silently. This will be within 5 to 10 minutes of the talk starting. Please remain silent during the walkout. Not doing so places trans students and other participants at risk. I know, you're so oppressed, my dears. I know, life is so hard for you. You have to live in the richest, most equitable, most just country in the history of the world. You have to get a college education. You have to voluntarily go to lectures. It's so awful. I can't imagine that, the people who are in war-torn nations, they must truly pity you. Goodbye then. I'm not that. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your support, but I'm not that intimidated by these guys. Well, it's very difficult to use my platform when people use the heckler's veto to try to shut up any opinion that disagrees. I didn't think I was this intimidated. I believe that gentleman just threw paint on me. You're just trying to, you're trying to teach me with your fists. Thank you. That's the same lesson that Mussolini was teaching people. You ridiculous fascists. You ridiculous, silly fascists.
Instead of dialogue, they use fake registrations, silent walkouts, and paint. Yes, the best way to prove your point is by imitating little Mussolinis.
Oh, there it is. Oh, Jesus.
Dude.
Wow, she didn't do that on purpose, though, did she? She didn't know I was standing there, did she? So this is the violent, intolerant left, and they're so panicked. Do you love trans kids or what? Man, you guys are just, why can't you behave like normal people? This is your biggest problem politically, is you can't even pretend to be normal. So why should anybody ever take you seriously? No one is ever going to take your movement seriously, and nobody ever should. You can't have an intellectual debate. All you do is behave like immature children, and the truth is you want access to minors. That's what this is all about. So you want to play games? You want to play games and you want to shove a door in my face? Well, how about this? You guys are a bunch of perverts that want access to minors sexually. Is that funny? Deny that you guys want sexual access to minors. Deny it.
As soon as someone asks them directly, why can't you behave like normal people? Their response is either silence or hysterics. In essence, they can't handle a simple dialogue because all they have are cheap tricks and provocation.
You're not used to a dominant woman. I feel like you are like, it's easy kind of coming to you to belittle women a little bit. I understand where you coming from with everything that you do, and I saw the last episode, but like you do come off as arrogant. Confidence is cool, but like, know the difference a little bit.
Oh, wow.
What you gonna say about my tooth, bro?
Why would I want a dominant woman when
Next.
I'm the dominant one?
Go ahead. There can't be, you know.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. What's
Do
up?
you think you're the prize?
I know I'm the prize.
You're the prize to the men you don't want.
Okay.
Oh, wow. When you get a man that you actually want, please believe me, we're the prize.
Okay.
She calls herself the prize, but the guy pulls out a classic twist. He's like, sure, you're a prize to the men you don't actually want. Brutal but straightforward, he's implying that the guys she's aiming for aren't typically looking for a head-to-head with a dominant woman, especially if she's more into proving her prize worthiness than into building something real.
Breaking news. Donald Trump was just shot at. What do you think?
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Just ignore him. He works for Turning Point USA.
What is Turning Port?
Thank you, honey.
Don't talk to him.
Hey, excuse me.
Don't act like a dumb.
Your thoughts on Trump being shot at?
I didn't hear. Is that the truth?
Yeah, like 5 minutes ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Okay.
Is it true you work for Turning Point USA?
Cannot confirm nor deny.
It's right on your TikTok.
Stop the cap.
It says works for Turning Point USA.
Is that so?
I don't know.
I don't even remember my TikTok saying that. Does my TikTok say that?
Man, you're a great value Charlie Kirk, ain't you?
Great value Charlie Kirk. Can you say that one more time?
Great value Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
all right, that's the greatest compliment I've ever got.
And
Thank
Charlie
you.
Cook's a Nazi, so does that mean you're a Nazi as well?
I'm
You're
not a Nazi.
anti-Semitic?
No, of course not.
Anti-gay?
Damn, you fell for that one easily, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Oh, Charlie Cook's a Nazi as far as I'm concerned.
What are his values that are Nazi?
He's anti-Semitic.
He's going debate mode.
Anti-Semitic?
Yeah, he is.
He is Charlie Kirk is anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
that is a new one. I've heard a lot.
My mom is the same age as Anne Frank, so Nazis.
I've heard a lot.
Nazis.
I've heard a lot, but I've
Nazis and Turning Point USA.
Well, once they've called Charlie Kirk a Nazi, that's it, checkmate. Everyone can go home. No more arguments needed. And really, who needs them when loud accusations are enough?
And so, back to my question, those of you who consider yourself feminist, how do you reconcile being a feminist, being for equality, but also not being in favor of women being subject to forced military conscription the same way that men are? Go ahead.
Because feminism isn't just feminism, as in if you're a feminist, you have to agree with every single thought and every single idea that every feminist pushes forward, like the draft, for example.
Well, it's not
just
clear to me if that's a feminist, like specifically a feminist position.
Well, then if I'm not a feminist under your eyes, then that's fine. I just...
Would you acknowledge, though, that that would be a pure equality between men and women?
Yeah. If everyone
So you're not
got
in favor of
drafted, that would
equality
be... Yeah.
when it doesn't stand to benefit women.
You take from equality only what suits you and leave the rest for others to deal with.
So my name is a little odd. Most people just call me San, S-A-N.
Your son? Okay.
Yeah. So my question pertains to, you probably can't see it, but there's like a little whiteboard over there. It's basically saying all white people are inherently racist. I think it's, sorry, you're on Twitter. I think it's really dumb, sorry.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you as, a fellow African American, what do you tell other people of the community or other races? How do you explain to them that not all white people are these devils or racist people, and that everybody can be, it's okay to have a little bit of animosity towards people, and it's okay to just, air out these things and not just act on them and, just
Right.
not be crazy about it?
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that I wish that everybody would look at each person as an individual.
Yes.
In my faith, we all children of God, and everybody got their own life, man. Like everybody's, you can't lump everybody in the same category, right? There's black people that I seen down the street that I didn't know they're gonna try to rob me in the car or not. Does that mean that every black person is like that? No. Does that mean every white person is a racist because one fool want to say something crazy? No, it's just common sense. Even siblings are not the same. Just because my brother do a certain thing don't mean I do the same thing. We're all different. Every single person is different. God made everybody different. Everybody got a different DNA. Everybody got different fingerprints. We're all different. So I would tell people, judge a person based on your interaction with that one person. And I think an even bigger thing is like, people may see me on social media and they come here and they have this built up ideology of this is what Brandon Tatum is. Don't do that, man. Just come and hear me out. And I would say the same for other people. Just take each individual and love everybody initially, right? Until they give you a reason not to want to be a part of what they're doing.
His philosophy is as simple as a microwave manual. Give everyone a chance first. And if they show their true colors, then decide who's an angel and who's the embodiment of evil.
Why are you a white man against Kamala?
Why am I a white dude against Kamala Harris? Because I have a brain. But look, here's the reality. Kamala Harris has not earned your vote, even if you're a Democrat.
Amen.
She did not win your primary. She did not tell you why she should be your nominee. Instead, they put Kamala Harris in a late bait and switch type of agreement. So all of a sudden she gets this coronation. She has helped destroy this country with Joe Biden. Wide open border, terrible economy, wars overseas. Donald Trump will restore this country back to peace, prosperity, and make it easier for all of you guys to be able to own homes.
Leaders should earn trust and votes through real achievements and transparent support, not party maneuvering.
No, I kind of present a little more feminine, but I actually was born a man, and I wanted to know, like I personally like pronouns. I've been trying to think about it, but I wanted to know what your thoughts are on like me, like. What do you think? What path do you think I should go down? Like, what is your advice?
Sure. Okay, so you were born a man,
Mm-hmm.
so XY chromosomes. And did you go through surgery or did you
Not
take
yet.
puberty blockers?
Yes, I did.
What age did you take puberty blockers?
I started, I think, when I was 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think they helped you? Or?
It's hard to tell because obviously I've never lived a life where I went through puberty like as a man, so it's hard for me to compare.
And I'm just curious, honestly. Do you kind of regret that?
I don't know if it's gotten to that point yet.
No, that's fine.
Again, it's hard for me to compare.
Yeah, it's a toughie, right? Because you can't like reverse it, right?
If I stop taking them completely, it will be reversed.
Okay.
And I will eventually go through male puberty and become a man, which I am considering.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life, right? But I believe that you should pray. I don't know if you believe in God or not, but I do. Right? Okay, so hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that living with your natural design would give you more peace than I think you might realize.
The guy started taking blockers at 11, and now, grown up, he has no idea what he is or where he's headed. But Charlie Kirk is no fool. Sometimes, if 11 years of hormones have you feeling lost, maybe the issue isn't needing more pills, but not needing them at all.
There's a lot of misconceptions on what it actually means to let a child explore their gender. My little brother actually, for a bit, decided to go by the name Kimmy for a while and see if that fit him, and he decided at the end of that, that doesn't fit me.
What was the time gap in between when he said he was this and then he changed his mind?
It's only about 6 months.
Okay, but let's say, for example, a kid, like they instead of 6 months, it's 2 years. They had gender dysphoria for 6 months, and then they got on puberty blockers, and then they wanted to change their mind. At that point, they can't go back. Your brother got lucky.
No, they can't. So puberty blockers and hormone therapy are two different things.
Okay.
Puberty blockers just puts on a pause. I know you're saying that 98%?
90 to 98% of them end up going on cross-sex hormones.
But those are people who said, okay, I'm done with the puberty blockers. I've decided my puberty will go this way from at this point in time.
The desistance rate is over 80%, meaning that these kids, they have gender dysphoria, they change their mind, but they don't go on any puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones, and they stay with what they are, but they end up being gay. A lot of them, the majority of them end up being gay.
Maybe instead of slamming the pedal on gender experiments, we should just give kids time to figure themselves out. After all, the fleeting desires of a 10-year-old aren't always the best guide for life.
How do you define abortion really quickly?
Abortion would be the forcible termination of an unborn human life.
Yes, but why do you hold that definition? Would you not assume something like a C-section would be considered an abortion?
No, because the baby is born alive.
But
So how would that be an abortion?
What does the definition of abortion have to include the death of a fetus?
Because that's literally the definition of abortion.
It literally isn't, though. Where are you getting this definition from?
Where are you getting your definition from?
Let's go to like what, like, do you like in like Mayo Clinic, like any fucking like hospital you've ever gone to before?
A C-section ends with the birth of the child.
Right, but
I know.
but abortion,
both I and all three of my siblings were born via
generally.
C-section.
Yeah, I understand this.
I'm here. I'm talking to you.
I know, baby.
Thus I was not aborted.
I understand this, but like yes, but like no. Well, yes, but like no. But no, you could simply say that abortion is simply the ending of a pregnancy, right? So the ending of a pregnancy outside of the natural
You can't say that.
Birth of a fetus. So I don't see that. I don't see why you would say that like it would have to end in the death of a fetus, which is why I'm pro-abortion all 9 months, right? Because say if a woman is not able to pass a fetus in the natural way, we could have these other abortion processes that would say like, okay, like she needs some type of induction that doesn't include the actual natural expulsion of a fetus. But it doesn't always end in the death of a fetus. So I don't see how you could say that Kamala Harris' stance is immoral in this sense.
I just don't understand how you're removing the death of the fetus from the equation about abortion. That's literally the entire moral.
In that case, let's say hello abortion if you've had an epidural. And as for a C-section, well, that must be an ultra abortion. Just imagine the doctors dared to disrupt the natural process and the baby even came out alive. It's like some kind of abortion with a bonus.
Are you voting for Kamala?
I am.
Okay, what is her greatest...
Hey, free speech? Free speech?
Yeah, they have the freedom of speech to boo you. That's right.
Do I have the freedom of speech? Okay, so if I boo them, then it's an impediment of freedom of...
No, but I just gave you an open mic for 15 minutes. Let's just tell me, what is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
See, that question, you can't, okay. The greatest accomplishment, that goes back to sort of establishing an extreme. I can't definitively say, oh, this is the greatest, though, absolute
Name
greatest.
an accomplishment of hers.
An accomplishment of her? She got in, when she was the hey. Attorney General of California, she fought the insurance companies to decrease prices that they're not going to be price gouging. That's an accomplishment?
Wow, okay. So that's worthy of your vote.
You support price gouging? I'm curious.
Well, no, I'm just curious. What has she done as vice president that makes you be like, that's my gal?
What is the vice president's the vice president is just president of the Senate. They don't have much.
Oh, that's interesting. If it's just a ceremonial role, why do we even have a VP?
Well, that's not the point. I'm saying
she was tasked to control the border. How is she done?
The vice president doesn't control the border.
They get portfolio projects from the president. She was given the portfolio project of the border. How is she done?
Again, she doesn't make any individual I don't think she makes a top-down decision about the border.
She made a decision to reverse 50 Trump executive orders. Do you think Kamala Harris has done an objectively good job managing our border?
No.
Okay. I appreciate the honesty.
Kamala's fan is ready for action. When asked why he supports her, he eagerly begins justifying her grand achievements. He can't name any specific accomplishments, but confidently explains that the vice president's role is almost decorative.
I'm just wondering, like, how, you talk a lot about wanting to have conversations and debates, but I'm left wondering how you expect to be able to have those conversations when, regardless of the fact that the American Medical Association and the American Psychological Association and, dozens of other licensing boards across the country and the world all acknowledge that being transgender is normal and fine. How do you expect to have good faith conversations when you won't acknowledge that trans women are women, even though medical associations across the world will, and people who have degrees in medicine?
So funny you say that, actually. There are a lot of countries across the world that are actually pulling back on transgender medications. No, it's true. France is, Switzerland, a lot of countries in Europe have. And I think that's a very interesting point that you say that, because there have been time and time again that the medical industry has made mistakes. Have we seen the opioid crisis, where people were abused and victimized by big pharma and medical industries? It's happened, and I think we need to have a serious conversation about how these people are being turned into patients for lives. We need to talk about how people are profiting hundreds and thousands of dollars per patient on people who are being told that if they just take some hormones and get some surgeries, that all their happiness will be back. This is not something that I take lightly. We are talking about young children who are being victimized by the medical industry. And if we're going to talk about that, we need to talk about these young kids who are being convinced that the best way to solve their problems is to become a patient in big pharma for life. And again, we've seen it time and time again. The opioid crisis has victimized people, and this is just another example of that.
Do you believe that trans women are women? Or are you not willing to go there?
They're not. They were born men.
Oh yeah, I could ask another brief question. So if you want to reach across the aisle or, talk to people who disagree with you, how do you expect to do that when you won't acknowledge that they are humans who are the gender that they have transitioned to be? How do you expect to have this conversation if you won't say that trans women are women?
I'll give you this. I believe that some trans women believe that they're women, but that doesn't actually make it true. I know kids that think they're dinosaurs or dogs or cats, and that doesn't make it true. Just because you believe something doesn't mean that it's true. And the nice thing to do is to be honest and have a conversation and help these people who are feeling that way and understand why they're feeling like they reject the body that God gave them.
This dialogue feels like an ad for the medical industry, tired of being yourself. Welcome to lifetime service. The opponent clearly hints that, instead of a road back to yourself, they're offering a road straight to pharma, courtesy of the same companies that got everyone hooked on opioids.
Would you consider yourself to be a feminist?
Yeah, I grew up with two older sisters. So since I was very young, I was exposed to this topic. And I feel like being a feminist shouldn't even be a topic because it should be common sense.
I think I would be the feminist that's inclusive of, non-binary, gender fluid, trans folks, and obviously people of the global majority, because I feel like a lot of mainstream feminists seem to forget that.
Would you define yourself as a feminist?
I would, in fact, yes.
And why is that? What does it mean to you?
I think it means equality and lack of discrimination in workplaces and in community centers for both genders.
Equal rights for both genders, making sure everyone's heard.
2020 really radicalized me. And it was my relationships with women at the time that really anchored me and kept me sane. And I kind of fell effortlessly into feminist spaces, but more specifically Black feminist spaces, Black queer feminist spaces, I should say.
It means recognizing and knowing your place as a person in a society where women are in disadvantage, because it's a society, at least ours, that has been designed by men and for men.
If you're doing it properly, I feel like you're advocating for the liberation of all people, not what just suits you and your brand or, your income or stuff like that. You're here for everybody. You're not exclusionary.
Of course, considering yourself a feminist isn't even a choice anymore, it's an obligation. Especially when you add in everyone, non-binary, gender fluid, and basically anyone you can think of.
For the fellas, would you rather tell your feelings to a brick wall or to a woman?
A brick wall won't respond, but at least you'll keep your head intact. With a woman, there's more risk you might end up with a philosophical dialogue as a bonus.
I don't want to call women wildebeests because every woman is beautiful in her own kind of way.
Do you call men bums?
If he giving bum behavior, yeah.
Okay, then we call women wildebeests if she's giving wildebeest behavior.
There's somebody for somebody.
Yeah.
So they might be wildebeest to you, but somebody's going to find them.
Y'all not saying that bum dude is somebody for somebody?
He for anybody but for me.
That's what we saying. Them wildebeests ain't for us.
Interesting logic. Maybe it's time for everyone to stop throwing around labels left and right.
Do you think a man who identifies as a woman is a woman?
No.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely not. You were born
with whatever you were born with, and that's what you are.
Technically, yes, I guess, with like the science today. I can't tell you, honestly. I don't know. I'm not scientifically aware enough.
You have to have ovaries to be a woman. Simple. That's it.
There are two genders only. Men cannot become women. Women cannot become men. That's not biologically possible.
You are what you were born with. This whole day and age of like, oh, identify as a cat. No, I'm sorry. That's unacceptable.
Feminism is supposed to be supporting one another, and it's supposed to be upbringing everybody. I don't see why they wouldn't be considered real women.
Yes, you could be who you want to be.
God made you who you are, but at the end of the day, if you feel that, all right, if I'm a female and I feel like I'm a you can have that entitlement because that's how you feel.
Should a man who identifies as a woman compete in women's sports?
No.
It's like now you're getting too far with it.
Should a man who identifies as a woman compete in women's sports?
Yeah, no.
That's a great question. I don't even know, like, honestly, if I have an answer for you on that, because yeah, it's not something that like I've necessarily thought about a ton.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think that's okay at all.
Men they're born with certain traits that they're much stronger than women. They build different, all of that is different.
Men are bigger, men are faster. Like that's just fact.
I'm a volleyball player, and whenever they say that like men that identify as women playing in volleyball, that's not okay.
If you throw like a woman into a UFC cage with a man, like, I mean, it's game over.
There's been girls that have gotten so hurt playing against men because they're just like genetically stronger. They have testosterone that we don't have. They have muscles that like we just can't have because we're not men.
I think that's cheating. I think you're only doing that to get ahead because you can't get ahead in men's sports. And I think that's wrong for the women who work their asses off.
They have different muscles than women too, right? So they have different talents and different strengths that they bring to the table. So I don't think it's fair to women that have been working for 12 years to get a title, and a man just strips him away, and he's like the 120th in his league.
I don't think it's fair to women's sports, to be honest. Like see that, and like she can just pull up from anywhere and make a three. Like, I think it's awesome, you know? But then if you just like put Stephen Curry in there, then it doesn't make it as awesome for Caitlin Clark to be shooting a logo three. And it kind of like takes away from it, you know, honestly.
The difference in gender is inarguable. I think that men and women should not compete against each other.
If a group of men who became women wanted to compete against each other, sure, that's different.
If you have penis, stick with penis men, right? If you have vagina, stick with women. Like, it's just that simple.
Essentially, it's the desire to sit on two chairs, to seemingly support freedom of expression, but only as long as it doesn't harm real women. The problem is you can't ignore science and facts when it's convenient, and then suddenly remember them when it comes to unfair competition.
Hi, Michael. My name is Demi. In the recent past, you've advocated for the outright eradication of transgenderism from public life with the claim that the supposed right of confused people to pretend to be the opposite sex necessarily infringes on your right to distinguish between men and women. I'm standing here now, a biological male, wearing a dress with a pair of leggings. Do you sincerely believe that I should be subject to punitive justice on the basis of what I'm wearing? And if so, are you willing to turn yourself in for wearing women's panties in your gay college film?
Well, I'll take those questions in order, I guess. The first one, I would encourage you to behave as a man, is what I would do, because you are a man, and I don't know how exactly you came to the point where you think you're a woman or very much would like to be a woman, but you aren't. And I don't think anyone who is affirming your delusion is helping you. I don't think that they're actually an ally of yours. I think they're lying to you, and I think it's very disrespectful, and I think it will not lead to your flourishing. I think it will only immiserate you. And so you might hate me for telling you the truth, but I think the truth will set you free. And furthermore, your masquerading as a woman does infringe on the legitimate rights of other people, the rights of women to have their own bathrooms. I don't know if you're an athlete. I'm not much of an athlete myself, but the rights of women to have their own sports leagues and the like. That is not something that you have a right to do, no matter how sincerely you believe the fantasy that you're a woman. As to that Yale thesis film, this thing dogs me. You know, back in my wayward youth, I was never a transvestite or a homosexual or anything, but I was something even more morally suspect. I was a professional actor. And I played 200 roles, I would estimate, in my acting career. Soldiers, football players, real macho guys. But you play one half gay guy in a Yale thesis film one time, it's all anybody wants to talk about. And by the way, I don't remember the exact wardrobe from that undergraduate thesis film, but I think it was male attire, but it was a bit risque. There's no question about that. The only further thing I will say about that Yale undergraduate thesis film, that is the most heterosexual thing that has ever been produced at Yale University, okay? So in the land of the blind, I guess, the one-eyed man is king. In any case, I think your second question was a little bit more of a joke. Your first question, it seems like a sincere question, and my answer to you is sincere. I'm happy to answer any more questions you have, but I'm not going to lie to you, and I think the people who are continuing to lie to you about so basic an aspect of your nature and the rights that you have in political society are not doing you any favors at all.
Michael isn't against dresses or leggings. He's against making the distortion of concepts a norm for everyone. As they say, you can put on women's underwear, but that doesn't make you a woman. It's just a bold outfit for the evening. Well, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Don't want to miss the next dose of raw reality? Then hit that bell too. Leave a comment if you feel this content helps you survive in a world of endless absurdity. And of course, hit that like button. After all, who else but you will support the dystopia of the show? See you in the next episode.